What's going on, Bandman? We at the Famous and Wealthy Podcast,
Yes,
and today I brought you a platter from Pretty Girl Burgers. We got 2 signature burgers. Right here we have our miso crazy with our signature miso glaze on a pretzel bun, smoked Gouda cheese, rich and savory, and then we have our favorite right here, the Little Baddies.
which I just tried, and that was good.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So this is a
Try this one
rosemary
right here.
infused.
Yeah.
Dig in, man.
Let me dig in.
Go ahead, dig in, brother. So this one is rosemary infused
Yeah.
on a butter bun, black sesame seeds with Kobe Jack cheese.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was fire. This good, too.
That one right there is becoming one of the crowd favorites. So Pretty Girl Burger is a brand where we do signature sliders, milkshakes, and fries. So our sweet potato fries are called Sweeties. Our regular fries are called Blondies. And then we have 3 signature milkshakes. So we have the Berry Love, which is a strawberry milkshake. We also have the Dubai chocolate. Shout out to our people over there in Dubai chocolate milkshake. And then we have the cookies and vanilla bean milkshake.
Wow.
Yeah, so we got to make sure you at some place where we can make it fresh for you.
Yeah.
I think it's fresh. Our burgers are grilled,
So good.
not fried. Our French fries are air fried. So we're the biggest burger on the market. You'll see us soon in the city near you.
Yeah. I'm good. You might have to take notes on this bitch. Famous and Wealthy Podcast, man. Today we got a special guest. My boy Eugene is in the building, man. We're going to be talking about the event space and hospitality. Man, he just gave me one of the best burgers I ever tried in my life, man. Listen, we got to know what's the secret, man. What do you do? Where you from? What's going on with you?
Man, I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised, Northwest Washington, D.C., uptown. That's what we say, uptown run the town.
Yes,
so
sir.
my background is arts, right? The secret is love, arts, passion. You got to keep God involved. Everything I do is heaven sent. I'm God's child. So what we do everything with love and passion, man. I have a brand called SVVOIR Hospitality. SVVOIR Hospitality is broken up into 2 departments. We have the actual event space, and then we have the restaurateur space. On the events and production side, that's really my bread and butter. Right. I've been doing that for 15 years.
Wow.
Started in Washington, D.C., went up to New York City, which is also part of where I'm from as well, Harlem World in the building, and then came out to Miami. So I started pretty young, man. I went to a lot of really high caliber schools. Starting around middle school, I went to Howard University Middle School of Mathematics and Science. Wow. First graduating class from MS2. Shout out to all of my MS2 family, HU in the building. Yeah. And then for high school, I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts. It's a performing arts school. I studied theater when I went there, and it was a real intense program where you had to audition to get in, and then every year you had to re-audition to come back. Right. So our culture was to set your standards and your execution, your professionalism very high from the beginning. This is my foundation as a child. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So we would have master classes with different celebrities. They would come in, teach us classes. Again, I studied theater, so I was taking an acting class. I had a diction class for speech. We did a movement class, so we learned how to do hand dancing, anything for performative. And then at a certain point, I felt like it was more important for me to learn who I was instead of dive so deep into acting. Because when you're an actor, you're not acting, you become. Right? So you become the character. That's why we love Denzel. That's why we love Leonardo DiCaprio. That's why we love Brad Pitt. That's why we love Halle Berry. They became these characters. You don't even see them in the movie. You see the character, right? So I transitioned into audiovisual production, going through a summer program throughout my entire career in high school. Each summer, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, there was a program called Hands on the Future in Columbia Heights, Washington, D.C. Belly of uptown, man. And when I tell you guys, DC still can be a dangerous and rough place. Right. And I'm so grateful that I made it out. I lost a lot of friends on my way, man. Like childhood friends, some to the streets, some I just couldn't be around anymore. You know, frequencies and vibrations are different. Right. Others natural causes. So when I move with a sense of purpose. I'm young, but I'm intentional about all the things that I want to do. And since I was a real young boy, like I had a vision and direction for me to own hotels, restaurants, and do events and things at the high level. So I've basically manifested the things that I wanted to do, but with the action. Yeah. A lot of people manifest and they think about things, but they don't put the action to it, man.
Exactly.
I left my hometown, went to New York City, If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I went to New York City, had some success there. I was also working in the nightlife industry. So we're talking about the biggest clubs in Washington, D.C. We're talking about the biggest clubs in New York City. I had some relationships with some spirit brands where I was doing like some intern work for them. But I also have my own reputation for bringing artists to the club, bringing beautiful women to the club, VIP tables. And I really used it not to make money for the girls. I used it for the relationships and the connections. You know what I'm saying? If I could be around executives, if I could be around celebrities, if I could be around athletes and influential people, I'd rather have that relationship than a few dollars because I made my head count for some ladies. I'm a businessman. I'm a visionary. I think forward, right? So transitioning back to how I got into production, I was winning awards at the highest level from the summer program called Hands on the Future. And my instructor, Brianna Johnson, I got to give you your flowers every opportunity I can. She told me, Eugene, this is a real industry, right? So come shadow me. And I started shadowing her for about a year and a half. My job at the time was at Benetton. I was working in fashion. I was on the corporate side. I was doing the styling of the windows, the floor and everything. And I had to make a decision. The money that I would make in one day, it took me 2 weeks to make at Benetton. So I'm like, I'm in no call, no show. I'm not showing up to work. I'm going to do the gig. And I'm like, all right, so there's ways that you can level up in this industry. You can start off minimum at 18. I started off at 25 an hour at 18, right? So most 18-year-olds, they doing minimum wage. We went to 25 an hour, right? And then from there, you can go anywhere from 25 an hour up to 1,500 for the day, right? So you have hourly and then you have day rates. So right now, when I conduct business, I'm doing day rates or we're doing per project, right? And we're going to talk about that a little bit more when it comes to freelancing, when it comes to labor coordination, when it comes to event design, when it comes to all the different departments. So I got into the production business and I started at the lowest level, which was a stagehand. You come in, you push cases, and then you go, right? You help set up stuff and then you go. You don't really have no real skill. You pushing cases, you know a little bit, but you don't have a real skill, which is video, lighting, audio. Those are the three main ones. And then you have IT, you got LED projection mapping. All of this is subdivisions within the departments. So I understood once I hone in on my skill set, I can have a specific trade and knowledge. And my background was video. So I was shooting a lot of music videos in DC for different artists coming up. A lot of my peers, they careers have transcended. I'm more Gene behind the scenes, right? So I like to understand, I never wanted to be a starving artist. Everything that I do still goes back to art. But I wanted to have money to do what I want to do. I don't want to have to rely on nobody. I want to be able to move on my own terms. If I want to go to New York and do something in New York, I'm going to New York. If I want to do something in Cali, I'm going to Cali. If I want to go do something in Morocco, I'm going to Morocco. You understand what I'm saying? I don't got to wait on somebody to feed me what I need. And so it's important for people to understand, to have a mindset of where you want to go. And then you got to represent yourself the right way too. People will asking me, why do you dress like that? I'm wearing suits, pushing cases, right? My peers and people older than me too, why you dress like that, man? And I respond, because I'm not dressing for the position, I'm dressing for where I want to go, for where I want to be, right? I'm going to own one of these companies one day, and I own a company now. So I've always had a vision, man, to still scratch that artistic itch and not let that die out, even though I'm no longer doing acting and my time in Ellington came to an end. So it's been an amazing journey. We got the production side, and then we got the hospitality side with the restaurants. And on that side, we have the catering business, which is called House of Savior. We specialize in Mediterranean-style food, clean eating, vegan options, vegetarian options, pescatarian options. We could do it all. Precious cuts of beef, really good cuts of chicken, fish, fresh, farm to table, from the ocean to the kitchen to the table. We love to do that, right? And then our newest brand, which I actually created back in 2020, and I just brought it to market last year in August 2025, which is called Pretty Girl Burgers. This is the most exciting project that I've started to date, man. This is my baby right here. So This has been an amazing week, man. We
Yeah.
closed some good deals. We having some great conversations. I confidently can say we got the best burger on the market. If you haven't tried Pretty Good Burger, you need to catch up.
Yeah.
You need to catch up.
For sure. So I want to know is when you go to different restaurants, right?
Yeah.
And you try different foods. Now that you have a restaurant, what do you look for? Do you look at taste? Do you look at quality? Do you look at customer service? Because in your market, it's like, okay, what could I do to make my situation better? Even with myself, right? I might say, okay, I want to start a clothing brand, but I might go inside of Louis, I might go inside of Gucci and see how they, organize everything.
Yeah.
You kind of get what I'm saying? So what do you
question.
look for in different restaurants? So just around Miami? You from Miami? Well, you live in
I'm
Miami.
a Miami guy.
Yeah.
I'm a Miami guy. I'm from DC.
So you go to Gecko, you go to, Mila,
Yep.
and I'm sure you vision yourself being like big like that. So
Yes.
what is even with me pulling up to the valet, I want to make sure the valet lets me out at a certain spot, like how they treat me, how they, some of them are they upselling? Because for instance, let's say if I go to valet and it's $100 to park right here and they want me to pay before and they're trying to pocket versus caring about the restaurant because valet is still connected to the restaurant.
Correct.
So if I'm thinking in my mind that I own this restaurant, valet would have just ran the customer off being greedy, trying to, you understand?
Yeah.
So every little thing counts.
Yep.
Yes.
Great question, by the way. And just to be transparent, I'm a student first.
Yes, sir.
I'm a student of the game. I'm a student every single day. There's always something to learn.
Yeah.
And so when I go out with a critical eye, right? My friends would be like, Eugene, man, you cook so well. We love your food. We don't really got to go to these places anymore. And I understand that, but I'm doing market research.
Exactly.
I call it market research. Just like you said, how long does it take for them to open my door?
Yep.
How long does it take for my food to come out? How long does it take for my appetizer to come out in distance for my main course or my dessert? Yeah. Are the drinks good? Are they consistent? Does the food taste the same as the last time that I came here?
Yeah.
Do they remember my name?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
If I'm bringing guests here, can I call them and they can make an exception for me if I've spent thousands of dollars here, right? Yep. Hospitality is a people's business. It's a service business as well, right? So there's a lot of room for growth here in Miami, honestly. But I do want to give a shout out to a lot of the hospitality brands that are here. Mm-hmm. You're doing an amazing job. You've inspired me, and I've also taken a page out of your book. So saying that, there's always a space to take the bar up, though. Right. There's always another level. Always another level, man. So I'm like, all right, once this is the level, like me trying food, right? Me trying foie gras, me trying caviar, me trying different game like bison, ostrich. I never had ostrich, but just naming things, right? Just outside of our particular realm of taste and expertise from where we come from.
Yes, sir.
So I've lived in New York City. I'm living in Miami. I travel for new clients. I travel for business. I went to Germany. I went to Italy. I went to Venice. I went to Capri to taste these things.
Yeah,
how can I have someone pay me for something I have never done before?
Exactly.
So I am a firm believer of executing high. I like to under-promise and over-deliver.
Right.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to get into your field of what you do and learn step by step how you do what you do, what would you charge them to, get a walkthrough of what you do to become how you are? You know what I mean? Because I know you make a lot of money a year, and there's a lot of people that's watching that want to get into that game. Like me, myself, right? I travel for food, believe it or not. I travel for hotels, and I love eating good food, right? So let's say if I go to Colombia, I always say, damn, man, like Miami needs this type of breakfast spot.
Yes.
Or if I go to Dubai, damn, Miami needs this K-Cal. You know what I mean? K-Cal is a place where, you can get a meal where every meal is under 300 calories.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, Miami don't got that. So I always look at things that I say, Miami needs this, Miami needs that.
Yeah.
So what would you charge for somebody to be successful just like you, or even partner with you to actually, make money with you?
So no conversation is premature.
Yeah.
I entertain every conversation, and then we once it's serious, we can do business, right?
sir.
So we are entertaining some opportunities for partnership. We wanted like a seed investment of $50,000
Yeah.
or more. Honestly, 50,000 is on a light end.
Exactly.
To partner with me, I'm looking for 2 million.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
Exactly.
we've been in this space for a while. We understand the costs. We understand the level of execution. And then when it comes to just getting a more of like a one-on-one mentorship, that would be about 50,000 a year.
Yeah.
With that comes along with you being able to work directly with me for a period of time. I teach you how to get clients. I teach you how to keep your clients, understanding how to find out the different market research, understanding the competitors.
Yeah.
And then also there's a few trade secrets that we can share with you. But there's different sides to the business, right? You have to ask yourself, do you want to be in the labor side or do you want to be more on the upper managerial side, right? Because the labor side is one specific road, while the managerial and entrepreneurial and ownership side, the producer side, is a totally different lane.
Exactly.
We live two different lives, but I've lived both lives. I'm still living both lives because I enjoy it, right? My background is on the tech side, on the labor side. So I got a wealth of people, over 300 people that I'm connected to. And I have a number of mentees that I've coached over the years.
Yeah.
I've helped them get business. I've helped them get jobs, helped them get contracts, DC, New York City, Miami, Atlanta, Boston, California. So it's not just about getting clients, it's about client retention.
Yeah.
Anyone could get a client, but how do you retain your clients? How do you get them coming back for more? And that's what you learn when you work with me.
And also, man, for everybody that's watching, man, my boy Eugene, he worked with some of the biggest companies in the world that he can't really say because he's under an NDA. But trust me, he's on a podcast for a reason, man. I've seen and I like everything that he got going on. I'm like, bro, you got to get on the podcast, bro, and tell your story. So if you are looking for somebody who can take you to another level in that hospitality business, in the event space, y'all got to tap in, man. Mentorship fee, partnership fee, whatever, man. Do you have a low ticket offer for people, you know, like me? I got a $50 a month, $100 a month. Do you got anything like that showing them where they can like get their feet wet, get started or something like that?
I do have a low tier ticket where it's like $100 a month.
Okay.
And with that brings you into a community.
Right.
That gets you access to job opportunities, right? So if you're in the DC area, I may throw out a job. Think about it like a temp agency, right? But you're a freelance contractor. You're not my employee. Okay. So I'm introducing you to relationships, right? And of course, that comes with you have to pay to play, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna make some money, you got to put some money into yourself,
For
right?
sure.
So you get in the inner circle where you're able to be a part of other people in the industry, other lighting designers, other videographers, video engineers, other audio designers, audio engineers, people that do CAD designs, people who are producers, riggers, different cinema photographers. So not only the benefit of you getting jobs, but you get the benefits of a community, right? You get to ask questions. How do I bill my clients as an independent contractor? How do I file my taxes as an independent contractor? What can I write off as an independent contractor versus someone that's doing something as a sole proprietor? So we really teach you about the business behind the business, and also show you how to do this fly shit, man. Like we doing it, we looking good, bro. Yeah, Kevo, when I come on site, they call me Big Money. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just because of how I dress; it's how I carry myself. It's how I talk to people.
Yes, sir.
Right. I could sleep good at night in my king size bed because I got a clean face out here. Yeah. You know, I'm not doing any bad business.
Exactly.
I'm not stealing from nobody. Yeah. And this is multiple cities and multiple states. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I continue to look forward to push SVVOIR Hospitality in this name. Yeah. Savior means to know. Right. So I spelled it a little bit different. I spell it as SVVOIR. That's just the artist in me, man. I got to be different, right? But Savior means to know. It's my job to know. That's why I said go back to being a student, right? And understanding if this is a 5-star or 7-star hotel, right? You use 7-star hotels now. This is a 7-star hotel. Yeah. There's still something that we can enhance.
Exactly. Always.
What is something that you think that can be enhanced from an experience that you've been to? Most never experienced, you've experienced, but they may be missing a little sauce. What's something you think that could?
I feel like sometime in the 7-star hotels, they since the luxury is so like next level, I feel like the quality of maybe the food, you know what I mean, don't be as on point. You know, usually it just depends on, because different hotels offer different things. So so if this is, let's say if we're talking 2 7-star hotels, right?
Correct.
We go to 1 7-star hotel, they represent more of the club life, but it's less luxury.
Yeah, the niche.
You know what I mean?
Niche
but
markets.
we go to 1 hotel that's 7-star, is more luxury, but less clubbing. The food isn't like, all the way good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just representing one certain thing instead of everything. Like a hotel where you can go to where it's the best food, the best rooms, the best this, the best that. And this is how I look. Like if I will open up a restaurant tomorrow, I will strictly go off of making my restaurant Instagrammable.
Correct.
From
Memorable.
The drinks to the food to every single thing.
Names.
Because we're in a world where before they eat what they do, they pull out their phone, don't they? So I'm going to make sure everything is very weird in a good way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
correct.
If I got a breakfast restaurant, maybe my plates glow. Maybe my drink cup glow. Something where it's like, oh my God, the smoke, I want the even the waiter to be an artist coming out. Just like, remember the guy used to cut the steak, where all that stuff counts, and that's how you can charge more. Correct. You know what I mean? And that's what makes everybody want to, because restaurant isn't just food anymore. It's like an experience. Like I go for the experience. Now I go to more restaurants, like when I go to Dubai, for the food and the show. I might be watching the show, them on stage. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, wow, I get to eat and I get to chill and I get to, vibe a little bit. So I started thinking to myself where I want to create something where it's not just the show, but it's really good food. Yeah. It's Instagrammable. Yes. And they're getting some type of free marketing. Because instead of us spending $10 million in ads, we don't have to spend $10 million in ads if everything is Instagrammable, because somebody's going to come in there and that one promotion that they do from the restaurant being Instagrammable will create the whole city said, I got to go to that restaurant. You know what I mean?
It's the exclusivity, it's the allure, it's the experience. Yep. Everything that you're naming, that's what we do over here at SVVOIR Hospitality.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because I've studied, man. I go back to understanding what people want. Hospitality is a people's business. You got to understand people. You got to also understand psychology, right? Why people are doing things, why they want to come back. The feel of exclusivity. If they couldn't get a reservation, are they going to be pressed to make another reservation, right? So even with Pretty Girl Burgers, we created that exclusivity. We're not going to have a brick and mortar. You're going to find us at large scale events, and when we sell out, we sell out, right? It's a moment, but the moment creates that demand and it creates that hype, and that's also another thing that we teach in my coaching program. We're understanding how to make these viral brands when it comes to the name, when it comes to the smell, when it comes to what are people seeing when they walk in, just like you said, right? The first 5 seconds when you open the door, what are you smelling? What do you see, right? Yes. Just a little bit of game. When we do events, we may put rosemary and garlic in a grill so the fragrance, people are like, what's that smell? Yes. We got to go over here, right? So it's business, it's creativity, it's psychology, it's understanding the relationships between people and consumption. How do you want them to consume? What is the experience like when they're paying you money, right? Is it an easy checkout experience? Right. Is it a draining checkout experience? Do your staff have high energy, right? Are they knowledgeable about the products? When I talk to you about our burgers, there's specific ingredients, specific burgers that have specific names, and that was all intentional. Yeah, all intentional.
You know, another thing that actually throws me off with a lot of 7-star places too, when they don't understand, like me, I might walk in like this, right? But they don't know that I'm a millionaire. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you notice that when the waiter comes to you, they're kind of like, they don't know that I tip really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're kind of looking at you like you're not going to tip, and they're treating you like you're, you know what I mean? And you study waiting, like, why am I waiting so long? You know what I mean? But then they realize, because I still end up leaving a good tip.
Yeah.
But they like, oh wow, you understand what I'm saying? But it's kind of like
they dropped the bag, man.
Because you could have just got more money, but you didn't do your job right, and now. Because like when you're eating food, you want to still feel good. You know what I mean? Like I want to feel good while I'm eating. But if one mistake from the waiter of ignoring you too long when you're waiting on something, maybe you might be eating the steak, but you need some sauce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pepper. But they're taking 20 minutes to bring it.
Yeah, now your food cold.
And it's cold.
Yeah.
All that counts. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Maybe you just didn't ate and you need another drink really fast. So sometimes if they have too many tables, I feel like a waiter needs to make sure that they're at every table fast, because you never know who, because you're working on tips.
Yeah.
And you can't judge everybody as well. You got to look at everybody as even. But a lot of companies, oh, I'm sorry, you know, we're this and we're at. I look at it like this. If it was me, I start a restaurant. Guess what? You can pay to skip the line.
Yeah.
Yes, you can pay to skip. You can pay to skip the line.
Pay to skip the line.
Why wouldn't I let you pay me $300-$400 to skip these other people? Yeah. I'm not gonna turn you around and you go find another restaurant because you don't want to wait an hour.
Yeah. Yep.
That's one rule. You know what I mean? The second thing is, it's like, okay, now you know, for celebrities, because me, if I open up a restaurant, right? Let's say me and you work, because you know we gonna partner, right?
Yeah.
I will say, bro, listen. In my restaurant, I want a lot of different private sessions, right? Why? Because I know what type of clients I will be working with. They will be high end and they want what? Privacy. So in the private sessions, they're going to look crazy. They're going to be lit. I'm going to make sure that it's not just all in the open, because guess what? If they're in the restaurant, nobody wants a camera, 10, 15, 20 cameras on them while they're eating.
Right. You got to have that level,
you know
of
what I mean?
clandestine.
So they'll have a nice exclusive area where to the public, I'm telling the public, this room 20,000. The whole time I gave it to the celebrity for free. And we're doing crazy light show. I'm giving y'all game on selling.
Yeah.
So guess what? Now you're getting 20, 30 bottles getting to the room. Oh, that room, 20,000. Yeah. Now somebody wants to try that. Now you just made a $20,000 profit on it, but you gave the celebrity all of it for free.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
But a lot of companies don't understand how to really, this is real life marketing, bro. You know what I mean?
And you can't buy that often. You got to have those relationships are key.
Yeah.
Right. So talking about high profile events, high profile clientele, relationships is key. And we go back to how do you keep them, right? So checking in on them, remembering their name, remembering their spouse name, remembering if their children have a birthday, right? These are memorable moments.
Yes, sir.
So when they come to your establishment, they come in there, they could have stayed home.
Yeah.
They could have had the nanny cook. They could have went to anyone else's restaurant, but they're coming to our restaurant, right? So when they come here, we want them to feel like they're home. Yeah. You drop some cutlery or utensils, we got a fresh one here for you.
Yes.
Systems is why businesses are successful or why they fail, right? Restaurant business is like one of the top high industries to fail in. 50% of them fail within the first 2 years. Yeah. If you can make it past your third year, you're onto something. But then it's still a short lifetime. You got food costs, employees, you got to worry about theft, permits, leasing, the build out, all of these things, right? Having those things in a system is a secret sauce.
Yeah.
Right? And I've seen people come, I've seen people go. Like I said, I've been doing production for 15 years, and our systems are bulletproof. It's always a way for you to enhance something and turn it up. And like, again, I look to be better each day.
Yeah. I
haven't figured it all out, but I do have systems that work. And we teach people those systems.
So look, I used to be a dishwasher at this place called Casas, right? It was a long time ago. I think I was like 13, right? And me being a dishwasher, I used to just didn't care. I used to just push the dishes through and, you know, push the silverware through. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you got to think, I'm here just to make the money, but I'm not caring for the restaurant. Like the owner cares about the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So till this day, I'll go in a restaurant and I'll ask for plastic utensils. To this day,
Yeah.
I never trust the utensils that, you know what I mean? Because they got the little soap thing, but to me, it's still not all the way clean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just being 1,000. So when I love restaurants that gives you those not the little cheap little plastic utensils, but they got they're almost like real silverware.
Yeah, it's kind
they're
of
real strong
Yeah.
and like sturdy. So I always get those when I go inside of restaurants because, like I said, from experience, I'm knowing that a lot of that stuff don't be all the way clean, like they say that they do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, maybe a new restaurant, maybe they got, but that was a long time ago as well. Probably got crazy high-end dishwashers now. But still just knowing that, you know, 1 million people that ate at this restaurant and sticking that same fork in their mouth, I can't do it.
Yeah, man. I'm
You
a
feel me?
germaphobe too. It's like things have to be clean.
Yes.
And then when you're dealing with food, you have to be on point.
Yeah.
We're talking about sanitation.
Yep.
We're talking about food storage, temperature control, especially when it comes to catering, right?
Yeah.
Let's say transporting food. You got to make sure that food is to temperature.
Yeah.
You don't want to be serving a 6-figure client cold food. No
For
one
sure.
wants to eat anything cold.
Yeah.
Right? 5-figure, 4-figure. You don't want to serve any client cold food.
For
right?
sure.
You have to look at every customer that patronizes with you as a high profile customer. And then there will always be a customer. Because if you start to put people in boxes, then you never know. This young man could become the founder of a company, right?
Yeah.
But he's been coming here and he doesn't dress a certain way.
Yep.
But you look at this other guy over here that's wearing this Armani suit and he's just showboating,
Yeah.
right? Well, if you treat everybody the same, then everyone will have that. They will also be invested in your success.
Exactly.
Because you're invested in them. You're invested into their experience. I'm invested into my people's experience.
Right.
I'm also invested into my mentees' experience.
Right.
I want the people around me to make money. Like we've been trained that making money and stepping outside of the normality turns you into a bad person or makes you think that you're bigger than other people.
Right.
That's far from the truth. You can't fall for the hype. Don't fall for the marketing play. You have to understand how important it is to put yourself next to people who are actually doing the things that you say that you want to do, right?
Right.
And these people can fast track your steps, right? I tell the people that work with me, I've made a lot of mistakes, so you don't have to make these mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? We're not going to start you off at 25. We trying to start you off at 500 a day. Right? And that's still entry level for certain positions. But that's more than people are making, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you make $440 a day for 365, you could be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Right? My numbers may be a little off, but that formula is a correct formula. That's under what we're making, right? So it's possible for you to grow in this industry and also make larger margins. But you have to separate yourself from the market, right? What makes some person want to do business with you versus the other one, the one that's been around for 100 years, and you're the fresh company on the block. You're the new startup. You got to come with exciting energy, but you also have to know your stuff. Because when you know your stuff and when you actually can deliver, then they trust that. Companies are now going into a phase where people are getting burnt out. They're feeling tired. And this is an opportunity for a new generation of people to come up and take opportunities and season, right? We're in an industry where you can season. This is not a industry that comes and goes. This is a business that's going to be around. People are always going to have birthdays. Mm-hmm. Companies are always going to spend large budgets on marketing events. Someone's always going to get married. So why not be in the industry that's infinite, right? And then when you understand taste, when you understand culture, when you understand history, when you learn, when you travel, you go see different venues, you taste different food, you experience different things, then you can present these opportunities to your customers, to your clients. And it's one thing different that your competitor may not have done. So we teach people that philosophy as well, too.
So what made you choose hospitality over the traditional corporate lane?
To be honest, it's the creativity and the flexibility, right? Corporate, there's different industries within the industry. So we do a lot of corporate work, but when we say corporate, we're talking about Fortune 500 companies. All the equipment is the same, right? So whether we're shooting a podcast, whether we're shooting a music video, whether we're doing a wedding, whether we're doing a conference, a finance convention, all of the equipment is the same. But I like consistent clientele. I like consistent money. And I figure, and for my discovery, is that on the corporate side and on the creative side, you get a lot more consistent clientele. They have to do these annual events. We call them legacy shows, right? So as I chose this route in the hospitality business because it allows me to create brands, not just one. Me being an artist, I'm a creator, but I make money in one avenue, right? Let's not get it twisted. I'm not a jack of all trades. Yeah. I'm in the hospitality business. And in the hospitality business, there's different verticals. So you learn how to maximize your skill set as a producer. You learn how to maximize your skill set as an event planner. You learn how to maximize your skill set finding great chefs. Because a lot of my friends are like, oh, Jen, you're an amazing cook. You're an amazing chef. I love that. Thank you so much. But a chef is a hat that I wear, but I don't want to be remembered as a chef. Yeah. I want to be remembered as an entrepreneur and as an artist, as a visionary, the person that creates the opportunities and then empowers the young chef, bringing the opportunities for other lighting designers. We have one of my mentees is one of the biggest lighting designers, man. Like, we can't really talk about too much of the projects that we've done, but millions of people have seen our work. Yeah. Millions of people. And they feel it and they come back. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're not just here to take your money. We're here to give you an experience that you can remember for the rest of your life. Right. You can look over these pictures and show your children. You can show your grandchildren. You're going to see the lighting rays. You're going to see some holograms. Yeah. You're going to see a cool LED wall. You might see a dancing floor that's levitating, that's moving. Yeah. So we always trying to find the new thing, right, to bring that new thing to the market. Right. You don't always have to be first, right? You don't always have to be first, but you have to be great. Right. You have to be great. Because there's somebody else out here being mediocre because people know them. If people that can't know you, they can't flow you, right? So when you position yourself as an authority and people know you, then you really a force to be reckoned with. Right. And that's what we on the Famous and Wealthy podcast for today.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
So what's the difference between a luxury experience versus just a nice event?
People have thrown this word luxury around so much. Yeah. And the difference is the planning time. How much preparation has gone into this event. And then you have people who are elite that could pull big things off in a week, in 3 days. But what separates a high-level event versus like a mediocre event is the preparation. The preparation, the people, right? Because if you're not representing your brand with the right people, the wrong engineer could say the wrong thing to the right client. And you just lost $1 million. So the people, the preparation, the delivery, and the follow-up, right? Are you following up with your people before, during, and after, right? Are you showing them that you're invested into the experience? Most people that I've seen, some of my competitors, I've seen that they take on a lot of volume of business, but their clients aren't happy. Yeah. Being in business, it's also about the no, right? How often do you say no? We're not saying yes to everything. Like that, I had a chapter in my life when I was saying yes to everything. When I was couch surfing, when I was homeless, and I had to get it everywhere I can. But we not on that no more. We've worked to a certain standard where we can now pick and choose who we want to work with. And so we make sure that we can prepare ourselves so we can give you the best representation of your event.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What is the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make when hosting events?
The biggest mistake that entrepreneurs often make is not having the right system in place. As an entrepreneur, it's really good. Let's say you're having a birthday party. Yeah. You should have a host for your birthday party. You shouldn't host your party. Everyone will come in there for you. We know that. But you should have someone that's hosting your event, that's making sure that the logistics is good, making sure that people are arriving at a certain time, making sure all of the food is coming out at a certain time. and understanding the difference between putting everything on yourself. When you have a team, then things are you're able to delegate and you're able to execute at a higher level because each person takes ownership in their specific project, in their specific department.
Right. How did you go from, event planning to CEO mindset?
Honestly, man, wanting to make more money. Like, let's not get it twisted. I'm in this to make money, and I'm also in it to help people. I'm also in it to create. But this is a business, and I've learned through my journey as an entrepreneur that trading your time isn't where the real bucks is. The real bucks is where you can trade value, right? When you can maximize value exchange. So we are in the value business. We're in the business of creating massive value, whether it's in a production, whether it's catering an event, whether it's being a vendor at a 5,000 to 10,000 festival. Mm-hmm. We want to bring value, right? And when you have that mindset, that creates a legacy brand. That's not just a brand that jumps in and out. You're creating a legacy now when you're value orientated instead of money and business. So for me, yes, I'm in it to make money, but I'm also in it to give value. And I feel like I have a lot of value to offer. So that's why I'm specific on the projects that we take. Mm-hmm. Because if it's like, I'm quick to say I refer you to my colleague. I know someone that's great for you. It doesn't mean that your project is not good. It's not. I may be available. I may not be available. But we look to do specific kinds of projects where it pushes us too, right? We're not just trying to just do the same one too. We love a challenge, right? That makes us better. That keeps us on our toes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At what moment did you realize hospitality wasn't just food, but more psychology?
I learned about that when I was in the clubs. The nightclubs taught me a lot about that. Yeah. How people interact with each other, how managers interact with people, how the doorman interacts with people, right? New York City gave me the game, right? If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. It's a dog-eat-dog industry for sure.
For sure.
Miami is totally different. That's why I came out here and I went like this.
See, I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
Same. New York, Chicago, same.
You understand? It's like you can't play around. There's somebody waiting to take your plate. You know what I'm saying? Out here, the beach is here. We in Paradise.
It's a rush. You gotta be like this.
You gotta be like this, man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. Understanding that time is of the essence, people respect fast results.
They do.
Right? So if your results are delayed, even if they're good results, some results come in delayed time. You got to practice patience or something. But when it comes to fast-paced results and it's actually good quality results, then you put yourself on a different pedestal.
You know what I notice about life, about very successful people? Even they call it rushing. I call it urgency.
Yes, gotta move with a
Being
sense
from
of urgency.
Chicago, I noticed that you have to move with a lot of urgency because some people have too much patience. Yeah. They're too comfortable. Mm-hmm. You have to move like we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like it has to be like you said, it gotta be like, because in Chicago it's always somebody that's trying to take your position. It's always somebody hating. It's always somebody that that's why we go so hard and trying to be the best and trying to outdo, you know what I mean? Because it's so much pressure. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, if this person lacks urgency, well, I'm going to jump in and get in there because he's lacking it. Yeah. And I see he's lacking it. Yeah. Even if he's two minutes behind, I'm going to be seconds behind. This guy might be seconds, you know what I mean? Yeah. And this is out here, I noticed that the urgency is not as... You know what I mean? It's just
people come in and out of Miami,
yeah.
Right? So the rate of client retention isn't as high as a place like Washington D.C., where it's where the government is. So if you know that this customer is a senator, he's going to this is his spot. They coming back for the happy hour. If the happy hour is trash, then you lose a lot of business.
Yeah.
Versus Miami being a destination location, people are coming constantly. So if you have a bad shift, you got a whole new crowd of people that saw your Instagram that's coming tomorrow, right? So we think about this in a different markets and understanding how to diversify our experience and just be able to educate all the people that comes into our ecosystem and our atmosphere. Because I have a lot of people that I've mentored and I've tutored when it comes to getting into the production business, when it comes to on the catering and the culinary side. A lot of my peers, I encourage them. I share with them how to display how to display your food a certain way, how to give that level of finesse.
Yeah.
Because in life, you got to have a level of finesse, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Why do you think a lot of wealthy people invest in private experiences?
The private sector, oh man, that's the biggest. That's the biggest. And why is because they don't want to be around experiences that's beneath them.
Yes.
Right? When your expectation is up here, you don't even want to entertain anything down here. And then you don't want any of your guests to entertain anything down here. Sometimes it's ego. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's taste. Right? Because they've experienced a certain level. So that's why a person will pay an event producer $1 million, $5 million, $10 million to do a wedding versus another person being okay with paying $30,000 for a wedding. Two totally different experiences, two totally different forms of preparation, two totally different teams. Both could be beautiful outcomes, right? But two totally different experiences. Why? Because of the taste. Someone's knowledge is going to separate the experience.
So what is the biggest misconception about hospitality that you heard or you hear?
The biggest misconception that I've heard in hospitality is that we just party all day, right? Like some of my friends that are promoters or some people in the business, they do give a bad rep, right? When I say I do events, people always say, "Oh, you're a promoter?" No, I'm not a promoter, right? So when it comes to misconceptions, is thinking that everything is just about partying. This is a real business.
Yeah.
It's a lot of planning that goes into this. It's a lot of personnel that goes into this. It's a lot of permits. It's a lot of licenses. Do you have insurance? Are you insured? Are you able to accept a certain a big balance, right? So when you position yourself to be successful, then you're really in a good space to be successful. A lot of people get into a lot of people may get into the hospitality in this business to be seen, and everyone isn't in this business to be seen.
All right, so last but not least, man, you know what I mean? You gave a lot of sauce on, hospitality, man. I want to know, for anybody that's watching, right? If they want to get with you, you know what I'm saying? They want to learn how to make money with you. What are some of the steps that they got to do? And how could they partner with me and you?
First, you got to reach out, right? You got to reach out to us. You can find me on Instagram at SVVOIR, SVVOIR. Follow us. We're going to follow back. Man, you got to get in the room. Honestly, you got to get in the room with us. Me and Kevo, we already got some things cooking up. Yep. We got the king of marketing here on a global level. And then we got the king of hospitality, production, and events over here. So if you're not in this dynasty, then you on the other team.
Yeah.
And we coming with a force, you'd rather be on our team, right? So we have the different programs where you can get in the inner circle, and that's a monthly subscription for about $100 a month.
Yep.
And then we also have another platform where it's more day-to-day. You come out with me for a week, see how we work with different clients, see the different spaces, our commercial kitchen, the warehouse that we have. We got a 20,000 square foot event space.
Wow.
Walk you through that, how to take in clients, how to sell shows. That right there is for about $15,000. And then we have another program where it's a little bit more on an annual base, right? Where you could partner with us. You could also work directly with us, and you could reach out to me and I'll tell you a little bit more about that, because that's a large commitment. And again, no conversation is too premature. We are an international hospitality brand. I position myself to do international business. So we've started on a domestic level, but we're going global. and we're going global fast.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And man, listen, man, if y'all want to know more information about what we got going on, man, don't waste our time, man. If you're going to hit my boy up, make sure if you want to get on a Zoom or a FaceTime call, he definitely charge anywhere from $250 for every 10 minutes or more, man. So don't waste his time, man, because he can break everything down to you longer than this whole podcast, you know what I mean, on a Zoom, but it's definitely going to cost. So if y'all want to know more about how y'all can partner with me and him or what we got going on, make sure y'all hit him up. Zoom, FaceTime calls, however, just know it's the cost. Famous and Wealthy Podcast, baby.
Just want y'all to know one thing, some hard numbers, right? So through our program, we want to get you easily at 10,000 a month, right? 10,000 a month when it's coming to doing productions and events. This is on the freelance side. And then one of the highest that I've potentially made on the labor side was 30K in a month off of one project. And this is staffing a job, right? So when it comes to staffing, you understand how to go and find the people, you give them their schedule, and then you put them in position to do the jobs. Or you could be the freelancer where you're working for different independent companies and they're hiring you specifically for a skill set and knowledge base. So guys, get in the room. Again, follow me on Instagram at SVVOIR. It's your man Gene Savior checking out.
Peace.
Peace.